Welcome to Stargate Center's small video series. This time I will talk about universal interconnectedness. Universal interconnectedness is a concept that is well known within ecology, but is not so well understood in psychology. Let us look at it. In the West, at least, most of us would cherish our individuality, even though a closer look, of course, will show that so individual we are not. Most of our clothing is something we are bought. The food we buy has been processed by others. The ideas we have has been processed by others. The language we have learned from someone else. The air we breathe has been through plants and all sorts of other stuff, and so on and so forth. We are much more interconnected, both on our physicality and our minds. So we actually consist of building blocks that have been part of building other beings before us. So interconnectedness is a well-known fact on a literal physical level. I mean, breathing. Plants ooze oxygen, we breathe in oxygen. Plants breathe in carbon dioxide, we breathe out carbon dioxide. So there is an interconnectedness. If there were no plants, there would be no humans. So, physical, well known. What is much more controversial, what we do in our everyday life affects someone else. The easy part is, of course, to see how, when you are in a bad mood, your people around you and people at work and all that is affected. When you're in a good mood, same thing. So we affect people, even if we don't say a word. Yes, but it goes much further than that. The chain of interconnectedness. You affect someone that affects someone that affects someone, and so on. So where does it end? It does not end. We all affect everybody more or less, and of course in the end rather less, but never zero. What you say, what you do, is globally important. I'm not trying to say that you are something more special than your neighbor, that I am something more special than my neighbor. Of course not. I'm saying we all affect each other. So, one way of creating peace in the world is by creating peace within you. Actually, this is a very beautiful part of this law, because if you want to create peace in the world, I mean, a little bit of sanity will show that's not really doable. You alone cannot match all these villains. And some of these villains are actually people that have the same idea. They also want to create peace along their ideas. So whose ideas are right? If we look at interconnectedness, it really means that we all belong to one big net of interconnectedness, meaning that agreeing, disagreeing, and so on is of much less importance. Again, an analogy from biology. I don't think a mouse will agree with an owl, but nevertheless they need each other. If the owl had no mice, it would probably die of starvation. If the mice were not eaten by predators, there would be too many of them, so they would also die of starvation. So the species need each other. In other words, what they as individuals would look upon as enemies is in a bigger scheme maybe not so bad. So, one way of working with interconnectedness is, when you see how the world is faring, try to look at how are you treating you. Are there any similarities? Are you to some of your aspects? Do you want to nourish one aspect and kill another? And you will see that the external fight is very similar to the internal fight. So the battleground where you actually can make a huge difference is within. Stop compartmentalizing within you. Start loving who you are. You will realize that by doing that, you create more and more peace around you. By creating more and more peace around you, you contribute to creating peace in the world. I don't think peace in the world is achieved by us killing a villain, because that just means that in somebody else's eye, you're the villain, creating more unrest. I'm not suggesting either that villains should just roam free, no, but I'm saying the bigger picture. The reason why there is villains is because of the resonance. The villain starts within. Work with your prejudice against you. When you say something, can you feel you? Or are you up in your head? Connect with you. Stop being prejudiced. Start being compassionate towards you. You will realize it becomes much easier to become compassionate even towards people you dislike. Global interconnectedness is a fact. Actually, interconnectedness goes much further. Because, of course, the laws that created this globe, and thus us, is the same laws that created the universe. So, our interconnectedness goes, on some levels, right through the whole of cosmos. Work with your inner unbalances, and you affect everything else around you. Universal interconnectedness. Thank you.